Welcome to the Space in Between podcast, a series where we will talk about everything and anything mental performance in a bite-sized fashion.
My name is Sienna, and this is
Frida.
We are certified mental performance consultants. I'm from Ireland, and Frida is from Sweden. On this podcast, we will share our knowledge and passion for all things sport and performance psychology. This includes all things mindset, exercise, sport, everyday life, and insights into how we help ourselves and others with developing our mindset.
Let's go.
All right, today is episode 4. Frida, what are we talking about?
We are going to talk about mistakes we make with progress.
Interesting.
One of the reasons why we kind of thought about this topic is because we're 2 months into the new year, and we started off the podcast with kind of talking about, how to set effective goals. If you haven't listened to it, pop over and do. Like we mentioned in that podcast, it can be easy, with quotation marks, to be motivated and to, want to do the things that you want to do at the start. But then 2 months in, maybe for some of us, we can't relate. But at some point, it will happen that, maybe we're struggling with the progress that we are making or not making, and hence making some mistakes with how we see progress.
All right. So one mistake that we frequently make is that we focus on the outcome. And, if you listen to that first episode, obviously it's good to focus on the outcome, set yourself a goal where you want to be. But then as we're working towards the outcome, sometimes we can get so obsessed with wanting to achieve it, and it might still be far away. Like, it might be something that's going to take months, a year, years to achieve. So if we're constantly thinking about the outcome, that can be unhelpful, because it will highlight that maybe we're far away, maybe we feel like we're not getting that much closer, and that can be really unmotivating.
So something we talked about in the first podcast there was the 95% rule. So that we want to focus on the process 95% of the time and the outcome 5% of the time. Because it is important to still, remembering like, well, what am I working towards?
Yeah.
But kind of like you mentioned there, that sometimes we get so focused on the outcome that can be demotivating, because maybe, like you said, it is so far away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not getting closer.
Yeah, and focusing on that outcome and like understanding that maybe it is far away. Maybe you're not like, it's not going to be tomorrow or in a week that you're going to achieve whatever it is you're working towards. That can just make it hard to see, like, you can be far away from the outcome and you can have made a lot of progress.
Yeah, that's very true.
You could also be far away from where you started. So, like, instead of just focusing on the outcome, like acknowledging that, I have a ways to go and I've actually come pretty far already.
Yeah.
Or even a tiny bit. If you have improved a tiny bit, you're getting closer to the outcome.
Yeah. I mean, 1 step forward is more than 0 steps forward,
That's true.
I know, thanks. Every little action we take will either take us closer to where we want to be or further away.
Yeah.
Success, in quotation marks, it's not linear. It takes time. It goes up and down. We might take a step backwards, then we might take 2 steps forward. And that's the reality of it. It takes work. And that can be hard, especially if it's over a longer period of time. So at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to commitment and discipline.
And that takes us into another mistake that we often make.
Very good. Go on.
Which is that we often think progress will be evident quickly.
Yes.
We think that we'll be able to see it. But unfortunately, that is not always true.
No. There will definitely be slumps when, like at the start, maybe we see progress quickly. Maybe we do notice these changes depending on what we're trying to do, right? But then most likely there will be a time where it might feel like, well, what's going on now?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm stuck in this.
It's kind of like when you start going to the gym, a lot of people might be able to relate to this. Like, you get those newbie like gains, like you're learning things. So then you probably every week are probably lifting heavier, doing new things. Like, it's an exciting time. But for someone probably who's been going to the gym consistently for 5 years, you know, they're probably not lifting heavier every week. And if that's the sole thing you focus on, and that you think, okay, each week I should be able to see progress, then that's going to be a difficult time for that individual. And I often say this to people at the gym, you know, if we were lifting heavier every single day that we went to the gym, like, sure, there wouldn't be enough weights in the place for us to keep going, you know?
That's true.
So yeah, we think that, you know, every day it's going to be a little bit better, and that's not always the case.
Yeah. I think with this thought too, it's important sometimes to take a step back and to look at where we are, maybe in relation to where we're going, and even more importantly, in relation to where we started. So if you look at that whole timeline, where am I on this journey, and where is that progress? Because it will change, and kind of like what we like to say as well is that, you know, the change happens during the progress, right? Obviously you achieve your goal on the day when you get there, right? If you, let's say you can take it off.
Yeah.
But that progress happened the time leading up to it.
Yeah.
So taking a step back and seeing like everything from a bird's view perspective sometimes.
Yeah, like the growth is happening on the way to the destination.
Exactly. And, you know, another metaphor that you can kind of use here is that when we're trying to achieve something, we lay it brick by brick. So it's really important to focus on putting each brick as well as you can. And then one day you're going to have a nice, beautiful brick wall or a house, whatever you're trying to build. I don't know.
Frida, you're setting me up wonderfully here. Because the next mistake that we often make is that we don't celebrate those small wins.
Yes.
We don't celebrate that brick or that step we just took. And that can be unhelpful because, you know, let's put all those together. Let's say you're focused on the outcome. You are thinking you should be making progress quickly, and then you're not celebrating the small wins that you do make along the way. I mean, where's the fun in that? You know?
No fun.
No.
Yeah. And, you know, this is so important, celebrating those small wins, especially because the reality is that you are spending the most time in the process. The daily, everyday tasks that you're doing, those bricks you're laying every day, like that's what's creating your wall, right? So if we don't celebrate those wins, it's going to feel like a long time, a long journey.
Yeah, and like if we go back to the house, you know, obviously it's great the day that you're ready to move into that house and it looks great, but like literally without every single brick that has been laid, that wouldn't be possible. You know, you'd have rain coming in through the side of the wall, like.
Yeah. And you know, with anything, the reality is that we don't go from a 0 to 100 with one step, right?
But we might try.
Yeah, we might try. That's true. So with those small wins, you know, celebrating that we are making progress, whether that is, I mean, it can be anything you want, obviously. But for example, and when we were training for the marathon last year, 2 years ago, I don't know, whenever it was, it was, you know, it's Ireland, it rains all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you don't run in the rain in Ireland, you're never going to go out running. So even with that, you know, like that would be a small win for me at that time, because I'd be like, I really don't want to go out and do this. Yeah. And then you did. And it's like, well, good job. You did that even though you didn't want to.
And Frida, it's like you're teeing me up here, right? The next mistake we want to discuss is that we forget about the different types of progress, especially internal progress.
Yes.
And this is one that, like, I definitely see a lot with our sports psychology clients. Because, you know, sometimes when we think about sports psychology, we might think that the progress is going to be, they're going to perform great every single day that they go out there. And I find that more often the progress is like, you know, I felt super nervous before the game and I was still able to go out and enjoy my performance. Or I didn't beat myself up for 2 days after the game, despite losing. You know, like that's progress. That's huge progress for some people. But if you think that progress is solely like the physical performance, the things you're doing, the things you're getting better at, then you might not even realize, you know what, I've actually made loads of progress in this time. But it's maybe not been the progress I thought it was going to be.
A lot of the time we might get very bogged down on numbers or, you know, like you said, those things that we can kind of tick off, and maybe things that other people can see as well, that are outside, you know, our inner world. And just like you said there, you know, it's very cool when you sit there and you listen to people and kind of them talking through their experience, and they're saying, you know, I made a mistake in the first 5 minutes and it was okay. And before, that could have been something that, you know, the whole game was ruined after that. Because I had a bad start, so then what's the point, kind of thing. So even a healthier, I suppose, relationship with how people approach different things.
I mean,
how they deal with things, respond to things.
One of my favorite things is when people like can say that they're actually enjoying their training, their performances, and it's not tied to the outcome of the game or how much I'm scoring or how many blocks I'm getting in. You know, it's purely like I'm actually just enjoying the process of trying to get better. Because that's kind of like, I feel like the epitome of being able to keep doing something for a long time is like, whoa, I'm actually enjoying this thing.
Yeah, for sure. And something that I thought about when you were saying this, and this kind of relates to a different aspect of like health. But let's say that people have a health goal that's weight related or body composition related. Something that we like to talk about, like it's non-scale victories, you know, and those have nothing to do with the number on the scale. That might be, well, how are you feeling? Are you feeling more energetic? You know, are you feeling more confident in the gym? Like all of these things that has nothing to do with that, but it's a big part of everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I also think about, because we're in that environment a lot, right, with the gym, even like a huge win for a lot of people that maybe they don't even think about is, it's not necessarily the number on the scale or how much you're lifting or what you can do. It's like literally just getting to the point where I actually have a routine now where I go to the gym twice a week. Like, that's amazing. That's like huge progress for a lot of people who start in that environment, because it's like a lot of people come from maybe not having done anything for a while, and now you're developing like these healthy habits. And, you know, that doesn't just happen overnight. And that's a very different type of progression than what we might think about in that environment. So many different types of progress to be made.
Yeah, definitely.
The last mistake we're going to discuss, and Frida, I can't believe you didn't say something that just set me up beautifully here. And obviously there's so many other things we could discuss here, but, you know, we could be here all day, literally. But the last thing that we're going to talk about is, that can get in the way of seeing progress, is that we compare ourselves to others. And we definitely do this a lot.
Yeah. Maybe we don't even do it on purpose. It's just something that we do. Is it innate? I don't know. But it's a really good quote that I like to remind myself of. And you'll say this to me, and I'll say this to you. If we notice that, oh, come on, we're comparing here. The quote goes, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it's true. Because, I mean, a lot of the time it's true. Sometimes it might make you really happy, though, you know, but we won't get into it. But a lot of the time it is true, because most of the time we're comparing ourselves to people we think are doing things better than us, people who seem to be achieving more. And that can make me feel like I might think, even though I have actually made a lot of progress with something, I might be like, oh, but they're doing better. So it kind of diminishes the progress that you are making.
Yeah, and the work that you're putting in.
Yeah.
So it's almost what you're diminishing your own effort.
Absolutely.
In that way, right?
If we think about it in terms of trying to make more progress, it's not very motivating to, like, if that is your kind of judgment of what you're doing, because you can't control that at all. You know, you can't control how much progress someone else is achieving or what they're doing from day to day. But if we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people, then, you know, we might think that, well, I need to do that to make progress, or what I'm doing isn't good enough.
Yeah.
But like, I can make progress at something, and you can make progress at something. And it might be at very different rates. You might be making progress way faster right now, but who's to say in a year's time where we'll be?
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
Not that I want to compare in a year's time, but, you know, thinking about it like that, like we have no idea how our journeys are going to go.
Yeah, and that's so true. And that actually made me think of we're all different people. We all have different circumstances. We live in different environments, even if they might seem like they're similar. You're your own person, I'm my own person, and we are living life through our lens and our reality, right? So even just with that, nobody's life is the same.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of things can be similar, nobody is the same. And that's the truth. So that also means that progress will be made differently. So Sienna, we talked about different mistakes that we might make with progress. So now our listeners might be sitting there thinking, well, how am I going to deal with all this? What am I going to do with this information? So do you have any life-changing advice to give?
Always. I think a lot of what we have talked about, like for some people, maybe you can relate to one or two. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I actually do that all the time and I never even noticed it, because awareness is always the first step. So like if you can become aware of that first of all, and then a lot of it comes back to focusing on yourself. Like that's going to be the most helpful thing. So if you are right now working towards something and maybe you're struggling to see the progress that you have made, or you're questioning if you're making any progress, you know, take a step back, focus on yourself, look at maybe where you started, look at where you are now, and think about, okay, what progress have I made? And remember, like, it's not all about what other people can see. Maybe the progress is actually internal. So taking that into consideration as well. And then there will be times when we focus on these things. Like there'll be times when, you know, I'm in the gym or playing handball or, you know, and I'm comparing myself to someone else. That's okay. Just being able to like acknowledge that and bring it back to, well, that person can be doing really well and so can I, you know? So I think just being a bit more aware of what we are giving our attention to from day to day, from moment to moment.
Oh, that's good. And then with that, so remember to keep using the space in between, moment to moment.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good work.
Good work.